I thought to put this video together, which is simple and quick, not too much production behind it, but I hope what we will be talking here is if it's helpful and if it's good for you. I get questions from people during shows or privately, messages and things like that about how do you set up your airplane. So one of the questions that I get a lot is about CG, and so let's jump into it. First of all, what I do, I've been doing this for many years. I really care about the CG. The CG is so important that it determines how well your airplane will perform or how well it will feel to you. Every pilot has a little bit different taste. I have my own taste, and what I will share is what I like, and what I think it should work for most of the people. Years ago, when I started doing this hobby, and we kind of came from an era where it was not, the internet or even the communication or the information that is today available is so much easier. So today you can find a lot of information by just looking at different sites or different comments or videos. Or, it's a lot of information out there. Probably I will be one more of that group with this video. So every airplane has his own best spot for CG. I recommend is to follow the manual. Manufacturers, we do, and I know everybody else in the industry, they do. They really look for what is the best CG for the airplane because it really affects the way the airplane flies and it feels. So follow the manual and start with that. It might work perfect or you need to do some adjustments. The things that I look for when I'm working with the CG is try to see how the airplane is tracking. I think it's important how the airplane tracks, and for that is flying lines, lines up, lines down, lines and straight lines. It gives you a good feel of the airplane feels locking or feels loose, like a hunting on pitch, loose I call it. Very light on the sticks. If you go to an extreme of being nose heavy, it will track better, but also the airplane will be, call it, less aerobatic, less reactive to your pitch, especially, right? If you feel the airplane is kind of hunting, doesn't want to keep a line, it means your airplane is probably tail heavy, assuming that everything else on the airplane is perfect, right? Servos and linkages, etc. So one of the really good tests to do is, first of all, you take off with that brand new airplane, fly around and trim it very well. You have to trim that thing well. What it means, go full power and find where is hands off. Not pitch up, not pitch down. Once you're happy with that, then the next thing I will do is I will roll the airplane inverted and see what it does. You will feel like, okay, too much pushing to keep it level, or it's climbing, or it's barely pushing it, or just hands off. So that is a very quick way to find out, how far or how close you are with your CG. So if the airplane is close to what you think it will be, always is good to check. Next thing is like Okay, let's do a 45-degree line and then do a half roll and then observe how the airplane keeps going. A good, call it IMAC, pattern style CG, it will be counting maybe one, two, and then one, two, and then start going into the canopy, slight arc like this. And then it will be kind of good CG, more like a 3D kind of airplane or XA kind of airplane, where the most aft CG, it will be 45, half roll, and then literally it will be hands off all the way up. And there is two kinds of things to do. One is upwind and one is downwind. If you do it a downwind, the airplane will, at the end of the long line, like a XA or 3D line, 3D setup, is going, almost goes to the wheel at the very end. That's kind of your edge. It will react the airplane a little different from into the wind or downwind. Downwind, the pressure of the air slowing down, it will make the airplane to climb a little bit, like inverted. So do both, upwind and downwind. I'm talking good amount of wind, like 20 kilometers or 10, 12 miles per hour. So do an upwind and downwind and kind of get an average. If you're happy with that, you choose what you want, and then double check again, inverted flight and level, and see what the airplane does. If you get this 45-degree and infinity line kind of climbing into the wind, or very slightly going to the wheels on downwind, it should be almost a hands-off inverted level flight, just pushing very slightly or hands-off. That is kind of a very rare CG. With that CG, the straight lines, it should be pretty good. Not perfect, but manageable to do good lines. That's kind of the CG I like, where you can do really good 3D aerobatics, be very agile for tumbles, but still maintaining a good straight lines. Those are very, very fundamental for my flying style, is to have good lines, right? So if you go to the other direction where it's more IMAX setup, what we call, or pattern setup, it's going to be like, as I said before, go 45, and then it will arc into the canopy after 1, 2, or 3. That's kind of where the CG will be. So once this is pretty good and defined, you are going to come, wide open and level flight and reduce the throttle and observe what the airplane does. With the CG being rear, like a 3D kind of style as described before, throttle back, and the airplane most likely will maintain nose level, and at the very, very end, it would very slightly come down. Some airplanes barely will not. And when it's more like an IMAC sort of setup or a pattern setup, when you throttle down, it will nose or pitch down when it starts slowing down. So the other good test that I like to do is to double check all these CG, because then it's when start seeing a little bit the what is better for the airplane itself. The CG is associating a lot with coupling. So what means coupling is like rudder, knife edge, rudder, and then the plane pitch to the wheels or pitch up to the canopy. So the CG, it will have influence on that, because heavier is on the nose, the airplane needs more lifting, which will be a little bit more up elevator to hold level, And then when you go knife edge, all this gravity disappear, and now you are having this airplane to pitching more to the canopy. So in general, if you have an airplane that is pitching to the wheels, a CG more nose heavy, it will reduce that coupling. Further you go back with your CG, you will have more and more to the wheels. So that's when you're designing an airplane, you play a lot with this CG, because it kind of affects then how are you going to lay out this airplane, where the start locations will be, where your thrust angles on the engine will be, or your angle on the elevator or wings are going to be, even the washout on your wing, how much is going to be. So this is important for it's an important test. That will determine, is one of the tests you will be doing to really determine what is the best location, CG location for that specific airplane you're flying. Always you need to shoot for, what is the CG that perform the best. I don't think there is one that will do 100% everywhere, but there is one that will do the best of all in every aspect of the airplane. Same thing happens when you're coming down, nose down. If the airplane is nose heavy, it will go to the canopy again, because you're holding up pressure or up line. When you are down line, and that pressure on the elevator to keep it level, because it's nose heavy, it disappears. So then now the airplane will go to the canopy. If you have an airplane that is really tail heavy, some of them will go even to the wheel. So you play with the CG to find where it's best at. Same thing happen upline. The upline is exactly the same. If you're nose heavy, you have an airplane to the top, it wants to go to the belly, or from the go to the belly, then you have to run that CG a little bit more forward, and so that will help to keep the line better. But at the same time, remember, if then later you want to do a flat spin, for example, you're going to suffer a lot, because the airplane is nose heavy and your flat spin are not going to be flat. The flat spin will be with the nose down, and even roll bank like this, so it doesn't look really flat. For me, flat spin is a very important test, where you kind of cross-check everything in the flat spin. You cross-check everything. After you're happy with everything, you come with a flat spin, and you will see if you really, that CG kind of compromise everything and works on the CG, on the flat spins. Same thing we will see like on waterfalls or Harriers. Harriers, basically upright Harriers, is going to be very important. That CG. So I hope I didn't get you too much too easy with so much information at once, but let's kind of the point I'm trying to make with this video is that the CG is so important for the airplane. So follow what the manufacturer recommends you, and then you can fine tune for your own taste. Some people like to have more pressure inverted, or some others like to have less, right? And also you can do some fine tuning with your airplane, getting the minimum coupling possible, the most straight lines, the most agile airplane, and find that CG that works for everything. Even in a maneuver like we all have to do, which is landing, a landing airplane with the proper CG, it feels so much friendly, so much. It's a joy when everything is set up right. So anyway, that's all I have. Sorry for the long one, but if you have some other question, let me know, and I will try to see if I can give you some good answers. Maybe shoot another video and we build something from here. Okay, Thank you. Bye.